Still starting. So please join your palms together and say Namo Tassa 3 times. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchāmi. Pānātipātā vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Adinnādāna vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Kāmesu micchācārā vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Musāvādā vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. Surāmēraya majjapamādatthānā vīramani sikkhapadang samādhiyāmi. So this evening we are gathered to honor the life of Palitha Kiriella Mahatma, who said goodbye to us 3 months ago, and you did many things on his behalf according to the Buddhist customs, family traditions. You went to the temple, you offered danas, you also gave treats to the community, inviting them to listen Dhamma. So these are very nice, wonderful things and many nice ways that you can say goodbye to him and celebrate his life. Of course, Kema, Kiriella, Nona, Jivaka, Anjali, and the extended family, they are still grappling with the kind of grief that they experienced with his passing, and we will only grow up with it, and there is no way that grief completely leaves us. Knowing that even today, according to the family's customs and Buddhist tradition, we do an event like this, inviting a monk to the house and listening to some teachings of the Buddha. And when you listen to the teachings of the Buddha, you not only earn merits, but also realize something or revisit some of the things that you have already learned. And today I like to highlight one of the most common teachings of the Buddha. Many Buddhas have taught it. Sabba pāpassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada sacitta pariyodapanam etang buddhānusasanam. And in our Dhamma Pasala, West End Dhamma School, all the kids chant it at the end of Dhamma school. I'm sure you did it when you were a kid. You went to the Dhamma, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they still do it, and they also recite the meaning of it. In our lives, we end up living this life sometimes with guidance, sometimes without guidance. Sometimes we do some things that we regret. Sometimes we do things that we love about ourselves, and we do things to others, and we rejoice in these good things we do. So at the end of the day, we reflect on these things, and there might be some remorse sometimes, or some regret, or some joy. And sometimes recalling what you did at the end of the day is a good practice, whether you are a Buddhist or a practitioner of another faith. And the effort there is to abstain from doing evil things. So what makes a person evil is obviously known to us. When you are mean to somebody, when you are jealous and doing things to ruin somebody's career, somebody's life, reputation, relationship, these are really evil things. We know that already. But then we can also ask ourselves, what are the nice things that we do? We help others, and we rejoice in somebody's achievements. We want them to achieve more, and we are happy about their achievements. And we are kind to somebody. So these are things we celebrate about ourselves. So this shows the way that evil functions in our lives, and also how joy, how merits, how good things function in our lives. So before coming here, I asked Sarnapala Hamduru what he knows about Palitha Kiriella Mahatma. And I also asked this from another person from the community. All I heard was good things about him. How wonderful a human being he has been. Even on my way to this house, I heard Taranga saying that when they first came to Canada, Palitha Mahatma went and picked them up from the airport. So those little things he did, these are things we can celebrate about his life. Not only those little things, so many other things, There's anybody I asked about him, the response was that there's nothing bad we can ever say about him, and that he has been the sweetest person to everybody while he was living among us. It's so hard to earn a reputation like that, It's so definitely very hard. Because in a world where people don't care for others, people forget to be compassionate toward others, people are mean to others and put them down and gossip about others. He was a person who was kind to others, helped them, and wanted people to improve and build their lives and build their careers and have a good life. So that's very, very nice. There are those angel-like humans living among us, and I think today is also yet another day where we can express gratitude to him for being a wonderful person, wonderful human being. To say thank you, Tata, thank you, my dear, thank you, whatever the relationship, friendship you have, you could still say thank you to your life. Thank you for your beautiful gift of life and memories that you have left with us. So let's turn toward the teachings of the Buddha, which is something we do on a day like this. In 3 months passing or a year gone, we visit teachings of the Buddha, and we do celebrate his life, and we realize something, and we uplift our hearts and say, I did this for you. All these little things or big things we do on a day like this, we do it for him, and we say, may you receive our merits and rejoice in our good karma, transform your present status to greater status, greater levels, and continue to, may your continuation be a good one. So these are our intentions when we engage in activities like that, like these. Is that Anjali?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Anjali.
Yeah.
Yeah. We kind of started it knowing that you'll be here. So, and that must be Evan. Right. Yeah, please feel free to come sit with us. Yeah. Alyssa? Nice to meet you, Alyssa.
Chelsea.
Hi, Chelsea. And Evan? We just started it. You can also lean against the chair, if that, the couch, if that helps. Hello, Anjali. Feel free to, feel comfortable here. This is your home. So we did the 5 precepts, and we just did a little introduction, and we were talking about Tata. And I was just about to ask this question from everybody, which is one way I sometimes engage with everybody and try to get the attention. If I ask a question like this, where do you live? And you will give me different answers, right? And I should ask that from Jivaka. Where do you live?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey, right? So these are kind of typical answers I get. We say, I live in New Jersey, in this neighborhood, and this street, and in this house, or in this mansion, in this place. But when you closely look at our own selves, the Buddha's response would be different. The Buddha said, Mano pubbangama Dhamma. Mind is a forerunner. In other words, we live in our minds, which is an unlimited area, not limited like New Jersey, or limited like our neighborhood, or limited like our street, or the house, or a mansion. This is one of the first and a powerful teaching of the Buddha. We live in our minds, which is an unlimited area. There is an expansion of the mind, and there is also a contraction of the mind. In this mind home, it's okay, you can just leave it, it will stop. In this mind home, because we know it's an unlimited area, we have so many things going on, and it's very personal to us. My mental world, my mind home, is not known to you, right? And your mind home is not known to me. So we live in different worlds in our own minds. And what happens to us though is that when we live a life like this, each day is different, right? Each day is different. We have good days and we have bad days. And we have things happen into our lives. We have good things happening to us. We also have bad things happening to us. So sometimes we start to worry about things. Sometimes we start to feel happy about things. Or sometimes we live in a denial, not wanting to believe or not wanting to accept a certain thing. All these things are happening in our minds, mind home. And say one easy thing would be to understand about an angry person. And in that angry person, in his mind home, you enter the kitchen of his mind home and there is a kettle boiling with anger in that mind home. And in that mind home, there can be rugs under which there are past worries and regrets buried. Right? They are not in an actual home, they are in the mind home, buried under the rugs of the mind home. Is it true or not? That's how things get buried. But my question also is, does that person live in peace or in pieces? That person definitely lives in pieces because of the kind of regrets and worries he has buried under the rugs of his mind home, and so much anger that is boiling in the kitchen, in that kettle of his mind home. So how do we then make this spacious home a peaceful, calm space? So this is when that teaching of the Buddha comes and helps. He said, mind is the forerunner. Mind made our experiences. Everything that we do starts from the mind. Say, Evan would go to a friend and do a kind thing, and the friend would say, thank you. And that whole experience is mind-driven. It's not that your body went and did it without the permission of your mind. It all started from your mind, and that the whole thought scenario, the thinking, and also looking at that friend and giving all these activities started in your mind. So in the same way, whether it is a good thing or a bad thing, all these experiences are happening in our mind home. So when you look at a person, you cannot tell whether this person is going through a sad day or a happy day. We have many episodes where we feel slightly unhappy about certain things, slightly uncontrolled, and slightly depressed about things. And then they get accumulated. And you can also look at your own body for a contrast. And you can see what the body does. You feed the body how many times a day? Probably 3 times a day. And the body knows what to do with it. The body takes what is necessary, and what is not needed, the body has a system, a way to remove what is not necessary. But for the mind, though, mind accumulates things karmically and as thoughts, as mental images, and stories, as emotions, reactions, anger, all kinds of things, all kinds of ways that the mind accumulates things. So that's also something that keeps happening to us. So this is when we closely look at our minds and see, is my mind clean, cleaner than yesterday? Is my mind messy? Should I do something about it? What would be a natural way, like the body's natural ways to digest the food, and what is not needed to the body will be gone. What would be the way the mind does to the cleansing of its space? And that is called developing the mind, purifying the mind. So the whole teachings of the Buddha evolved around mental purification. Chittassa pariyodapana. Pariyodapana is cleansing, like you have a piece of cloth that is dirty, and all you have to do is to just throw it in the washing machine and get a cleaner cloth. Then it's clean, nice smelling, and you like it. But in this life's journey, because we accumulate things, we also accumulate memories of individuals, memories of people who lived with us. And they live with us for a long time, our entire lives. And the truth is that there comes a day when they say goodbye to us. And it's like a lamp that is lit and is burning, and there is a beautiful flame around us giving light to us. But there comes a day that the wick of the oil lamp or the oil, they perish, and then the flame also is gone. And you start to feel sad about this. You start to grieve about the kind of loss you feel about this. And when we feel that about humans, it's unbearable to us. They are tattooed to our hearts. They are buried in our hearts. And the kind of emotion that you feel there is called grief. Grief that weighs the measure of your love toward the loved ones. You want them forever in your lives, but when they are gone, there is this hole in your heart that you don't know how to fill it. There is also another way to understand grief. Grief is also love that has no address to go to. You can't express this love. So I tell a kid's story. This story comes from Germany. There was a man named Kafka. Have you heard of Kafka's story? He lived alone. And when he was walking in his neighborhood, he was actually going home. And he saw this little girl crying and looking for something. And he thought, oh, I know this little girl. I may as well ask her, what's going on. And he did go to her, and he asked, my dear, what's going on? And she said, I lost my baby doll. I'm looking for it. Can you please help me to find it? So he said, of course, and he hugged her. Together they started looking for this baby doll. And so they looked for it for a couple of hours under the trees, under the rocks. They thought maybe a bird carried it away, or a dog may have taken it to some place, but they could not find it. So next day Kafka came back, still, as you know, asking the little girl, "Did you find it?" She said, "No, I really want my baby doll." So she started like looking sad. So she said, "Can we still continue looking for my baby doll?" He said, "Of course." And a couple of days passed by. They never found the baby doll, but she started receiving letters. She started receiving letters. And the first letter said, "Don't worry about me. I took a trip. I'm traveling the world. And these are the beautiful places I'm seeing. Like, beautiful places in the world, right? There are so many beautiful places." So she started sending these letters of all the travels, all the places she has been to. One day she's in France visiting the Eiffels, or another day she's in Sweden, in Uppsala, in Italy, in Rome, Disneyland. So all these beautiful places she has been to. And so the baby girl started looking forward to these letters. She's getting excited about, I wonder what next place my doll is visiting. So this was kind of helping her to cope with the kind of loss she felt. At first, of course, she felt sad, but now she's looking forward to something in her life. So Kafka also started growing older, and he came to the end of his life. So one day, the baby girl received another baby doll, and her first reaction was, "This is not the baby doll I lost. This is different." And then couple of days later, she received another letter. In that letter, it said, "Don't worry, all these travels have changed me. I am the same person. I am giving you the same love." So she felt happy, and she hugged the baby doll, the new one, and she kept it closer. So this baby girl grew up to be a big girl. She became a grown-up girl, and this baby doll was still around. She stopped receiving letters because now the doll is here at home. And then she could put the puzzle together, and she realized, who actually sent these letters? And then she connected that with Kafka, how Kafka may have been the one who sent it. And then she looked closely at the baby doll that she received, the new one, and she realized, so there's a little thing that she can open, and she opened it. It was kind of buried under, and she opened that little piece, and she saw another letter written in it. It was like about 20 years after. And in that letter it said, "Love is never lost. It comes back to you in another form. So you always have to look forward to receiving it." And I connected that with the Buddha's teachings, how the Buddha said that the same family members keep meeting again and again in the lives to come. According to the Buddhist teachings, we are taught that we have a continuation, and in that continuation, you may end up meeting your Amma again, Tata again, but maybe as a grandchild, or maybe as a different individual. You just have to look forward to that love. It doesn't matter what form you receive it, but there is this greater love that makes your life full of joys again. And that way, you start to develop this kind of hope in your heart. Maybe I should look forward to this kind of love. Maybe I should develop a kind of mindset that makes me live longer, healthy. Maybe I should look after my own self, my own mindset, my own mind, so that I will be receptive to the kind of love that will be presented to me later. So I start living for my own children, for my own family, for my own loving mother. That way we kind of continue receiving yet bigger love with more wonders in it. And the life will reward you with so much greater goodness in that way. And there are stories like that, when someone is gone, they are not forever gone. They come back to us. They come back to us in different forms. Someone in the US, actually they live in New Jersey. Their aunt passed away, and before she passed, the family asked, who do you, want to be after you are gone, when you are gone? And she was a great lover of horses. She said, I definitely want to come back as a horse. And the family, family got a horse, and when they looked at the eyes of this horse, they saw just this love of this aunt who passed away. That's all. They just couldn't think of any other love. It was just this beautiful love they felt in that instant, in that moment. So words fail to explain this to us. But just because we don't understand it, that just because we cannot interpret it properly, doesn't mean that it's not true. It's there. It's like electricity. We cannot see it, we cannot touch it, but it does things. It's there. So in our lives, we do meet wonderful individuals, wonderful humans within our own families, and in the circle of our own families, in our friendship network. Some stay, some say goodbye to us for various reasons. But we can never put our hands around them and say, please stay forever. It's not possible. One of the greatest poets who's still alive in Sri Lanka, Ratnasri Vijayasinghe, he said when his wife passed, 2 years gone by, and he saw the full moon and how they admired the full moon together, and how they, when it is the Vesak season coming up next month, Vesak season, they would light Vesak lanterns, also another tradition in Sri Lanka. And he remembered how wind comes from different directions. She would put her hands like this to cover the flame, to keep it from what's the word, blowing away. So he thought, oh, her life was like that. How could I stop your life with my 2 hands? I failed to do so. The immense grief he felt instantly. We will be feeling that way in unwanted times. A little thing, something like the chair where he used to sit, or the clothes he used to wear, all these little things, memories, places he used to go to together with the family, they will come to you at times, and you just have to pause, receive it, and admire. Say thank you for this wonderful life and memories. And we try to live the legacy that he left by being a good person. Because in the end, we are responsible for our own lives. We ask the biggest questions from ourselves. We have a conscience. And true conscience is like a soft pillow. At the end of the day, we ask ourselves the biggest questions. Did I do something right, or did I do something wrong? And when the answer to any of these questions show that you have something to improve and you take it seriously as a way of dedicating your life to Tata or dedicating your life to him, whatever the relationship you have about him. You say, I do this for you. Like feeding birds, you say, I do this for you. So celebrating every moment of the gift of life he lived and the memories he left with us. So it's never-ending joys, never-ending celebrations, never-ending memories. Again, just like that flame, it will be gone. I think when the days come to you that you feel helpless, days come to you that you feel lost, you can think of how did my Tata deal with this? So you regain that strength, and then you show him that I can face this too. There's nothing that I cannot conquer in this life. So you get that brevity, the courage to your heart, and you keep building and rebuilding your life to make him proud, because that kind of blessing and greater love is never gone. They, from heaven or from a place of a beauty, they continue watching us. Where your grandchildren, his grandchildren, and his children, his family, he will be watching us, always giving that warmth and love and protecting us from the evil individuals, from the evil incidents, from evil energies. So all we have to do is to kind of continue receiving those letters, continue receiving the love, and be receptive to it. And in the beginning I mentioned abstaining from all evil and also cultivating what is wholesome. These are things we do for him, because it's easy to give material things, but what is difficult is to change our character. What is difficult is to let go of something like a bad habit. We develop sometimes bad habits, some addictions, when it comes to children, we know Anjali and Jivaka knows, how hard it is to protect them, right, from all kinds of things. When I give teachings to children, I say how their intelligence gets hijacked by electronics sometimes, right? You end up looking at Tata's or Amma's cell phone. Sometimes time ceases, you forget about the time. You sometimes forget to eat. This is so we need mindfulness in our lives to limit it. Also, our beautiful mind, which is bright and luminous and radiant and so clean, gets hijacked by anger sometimes. When I was a kid of Evan's age, I used to think that I would never get angry. But before I knew it, I started getting angry. I was getting so mad at certain things, like 13, 14, and 16, my goodness, I exploded. I never thought I would be like this. But it happened to me. And then it took me years to understand. I was 16 when I became a monk. It took me years to understand what happened to my mind. My intelligence was hijacked by emotions. Anger is a strong emotion. One time I hurt Tata by not touching him, but throwing away something that was so important to him. He was into Ayurvedic medicine. He locally treated people. So he had this king coconut oil that was so hard to retrieve. So he got some. You have to climb a tree at 4 a.m, and there's a procedure to retrieve that kind of oil. So he was kind of heating it under the sun, because one time when I was angry, I threw it on the wall of the house because I wanted to hurt him. That's what anger does. And that mark was there in the house for so many years, he did not cover it. He wanted everybody to see my anger. Even after, I left home that day. But that's what anger does. Fortunately, when I told my friends that I either want to be a monk or go to Colombo and find work, and my friend said, "Oh, you are good at studies. Let's go talk to a monk." So they took me to the temple, and I said, "If my intention is to be ordained," and so my friends told that to the monk, and so that's the path I took. Fortunately, so when I was small, I think I was at Evan's age. Monks kept asking, my father, "Can you give your son to the temple? We will ordain him." But he refused. But at this age, I was little stubborn, really bad, bad child. I hurt his feelings. He did not talk to me for how many years? 5, 6 years. Please don't do this. Don't take me as an example and hurt parents. Right? So this is to show how anger hijacks your intelligence. That I didn't know what is right and what is wrong. I hurt him by throwing something that was important to him into the wall, and I left home. And another way, our minds, the pure minds, our minds are pure by default, but another way it gets hijacked is by hormones. We listen to the hormones and we act according to the hormones. How 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, they have a pure heart, and then suddenly they start changing, seeing the neighborhood girl to be the most beautiful girl, and they stop listening to the parents and they start listening to the girl. So this can happen to us too. So getting hijacked means you are under control of certain somebody. And the worst thing yet is, something that is getting introduced to you by the society, by schools. Our intelligence gets hijacked by drugs and substances, unfortunately, alcohol and stuff. And this is also something that 5 precepts teach us in Buddhism. We take 5 lifetime precepts, and they say never take such things for lifetime, because we lose mindfulness. So when we are not mindful, of course, when we are under the influence of something, we just do crazy things, and we lose the control of brain chemicals and healthy chemicals. I think Dr. Jivaka knows these things better, how the brain can malfunction at some point. So this is something we need to be aware of, not now, forever. No, I'm not targeting anyone here. I see them as wonderful, beautiful kids with such a wonderful future. And you will make Palitha Mahatma, your grandpa, proud one day. And I'm very confident of that. But as we live our lives, we continue meeting individuals in the society who introduce certain things to us. We strongly say, no, we don't want any of this. We don't want any of this to our lives. So we live a life with mindfulness. So I have a story of mindfulness, and after telling that story, I will conclude today's teaching and then transfer merits. So this is a story of mindfulness that will be useful to all of us. It's an ageless teaching. And before I say that, I must say that in my family, my father is now a Buddhist monk, and my younger brother is also a Buddhist monk. So my path kind of changed their lives too. So it's not a sad ending. So it's a very nice change that happened within the family. And I think that's a different story for a different time. But this is about how that hijacking of the intelligence can be stopped with mindfulness. We all have buddhi, intelligence, and it gets hijacked by all these emotions, anger, and all these things, hormones, electronics, and addictions, and whatnot. So there was this little monk. He's from Vietnam, very small, like Evan's age. When he was small, his teacher, he had so much respect to his teacher. His teacher told him to do something. His teacher in the monastery told him to bring the meditation bell. So he got excited. Oh, my big teacher, I love my teacher. He told me to bring the meditation bell. He got excited and he slammed the door behind and he was running toward the meditation hall. And the teacher stopped him and said, "My dear child, come back. Now close the door again." This time, with full of his presence, full of his mind, he closed that door. And his teacher never had to remind him again on how to close the door. He was very mindful, with full of his mind's presence. So mindful doesn't mean that the mind is full of stuff. You give the full mind to an activity that you do. Your full presence to it. 100% of you is given to it. And later he became a big monk. He was visiting Connecticut, one of the neighboring states of Massachusetts, where I live. I live in Massachusetts. So this monk was visiting his friend, a Catholic priest, Thomas Merton. You know him? Thomas Merton is a very famous Catholic teacher, a prolific writer, an amazing person. So these two were friends, and he lived in this Trappist monastery in Connecticut. And so they had this conversation about their past and childhood, and this monk told his story, this childhood incident about closing the door and how his teacher advised him about mindfulness. And Thomas said, "I saw you, without you even telling me this story, I saw how much presence you gave to a simple activity like closing the door. How fully present you were in that instant, in that moment, while others were rushing, slamming, and not being mindful about closing this door." And this monk is none other than Thich Nhat Hanh, a famous teacher who also passed away about 3 years ago. He lived in Plum Village in France, a big monastery he established. He also was a pioneer in freedom movement in the United States. He was a friend of Martin Luther King. Yeah. So that's not it. There's more to this story. So Thomas, having heard this story, he told that in his teachings in the church to a group of ladies and his students. There was this one Catholic lady in that audience, and she was so inspired by this teaching. And she went to France, to Plum Village, to see how Thich Nhat Hanh closed the door. Isn't that a beautiful thing? Just a simple thing like closing the door can be a teaching to us, to slow us down and to give our fullest presence. I know about Sri Lankan kids, Canadian Sri Lankan kids or American Sri Lankan kids coming home. Their shoes in one place, they slam the door and they forget to clean the bathroom after. They never wipe off the sink. They just throw their books somewhere and then they straight go to the TV or to a cell phone or to their game, and they start watching games on YouTube, and they forget their back is crooked like this. And they sometimes, there's this kid, she grew up in Illinois, and she she had to repair her back because she forgot to be mindful of her posture. So one of the most beautiful things that cleanses our minds is mindfulness. It gives us the fullest presence to an activity that we do. Whether you are closing the door, or reorganizing your room, cleaning your house, or talking to someone, sending that email, sending that text, you can give your fullest mind to it. And who is going to benefit from it? You yourself will be the first person to benefit from it. You will see your memory improves. You will see that you are not rushing to do things. You will see that you are thoughtful, considerate, more loving. And even when bad things happen to you, you will be fully present with it. You will not be running away from it. You will give your full presence to it. Because all these bad things or bad emotions are also waiting for you to be done. You get it? If we try to run away from like fear or grief, those emotions are loving emotions. We just need to hold space for them in our hearts. And we say, oh, I acknowledge your presence. You stay here. I care for you. And I'm not trying to run away from you. Because people try to drink through it. People try to do things to get themselves busy. But all these emotions are kind of waiting for you to be done so that you can feel them and they live fully. And they'll have their own lifespan and they will die whenever they want to die. But we can always engage in merit-making activities like this and uplift our hearts and transfer merits to alleviate our own pains. That we can do anytime. 3 months after, a year after, or any time in our lives, we can come back to the truth, come back to the Dhamma, come back to understanding our own minds and purify our minds. Mind is like an umbrella, functions best when it's open. Mind is also like your hand. If something is too tight to it, there's pain, there's bleeding. So please keep this mind space so clean. That way you will benefit from it and you will thank yourself for listening to that kind of teaching. With that, let's transfer merits to Palitha Kiriella Mahatma, thanking him for this opportunity to come together. It's because of him that you invited the monk to this house, you listened to the teachings. Not only that, even before you did listen to teachings and you gave alms, and you will continue to engage in all these heart cleansing activities. May he rejoice our doings. May he uplift his mind. May he receive heavenly rewards. May he attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With that intention in mind, let's recite the Gatha together to transfer merits. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Idam me ñāti nang hotu sukhita hontu ñātayo. Let us also transfer merits to heavenly angels, angels that protect you, guide you and guard you. May they rejoice in your good karma. May they continue to protect you, love you and guard you. May they also upgrade their heavenly rewards and heavenly lives. May they be free from sansaric suffering. With these intentions in mind, let us recite the Gatha together to transfer merits to heavenly beings. Ettavata ca ammehi sambhatang puñña sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ettavata ca ammehi sambhatang puñña sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya. Ittavatāca ammehi sambhatang puñña sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiyā kāsattha ca bhummattha devānāgā mahidhikā puññantang anumoditvā ciran rakkhantu sāsanang ciran rakkhantu desanang ciran rakkhantu tvang sadā. May the New Year bring you rewards, prosperity, longevity, and many more beautiful connections. May Kema Kiriella Nona, Jivaka Kiriella Mahatma, and Anjali Kiriella, Evan, and all the loving grandchildren live a long, healthy life, making the grandpa proud, and adding more beauties and love to their lives. So please join with me with one final wish as I radiate loving kindness to the entire universe. It's less than a minute, so you just have to connect with me with these intentions and wishes. May suffering ones be suffering free and the fear struck fearless be. May the grieving shed all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power, share this merit of ours. May they long protect each and every one of you. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you so much for listening. Now you have to repeat this after this.